Hello and welcome to another stream. Hope everybody is having a great day and having a good week. Today we'll be looking at repeatable tasks. So this allows us to create a task that we need to do every day, every week, every Wednesday, something in that sort. We are gonna do that with Azure Functions, but first we have to write some code in our Blazor app to make sure we save the data on when we wanna queue it, basically. We also have a few new people. Ergazia, I hope I say that correctly, and Dripwasm. Welcome to the stream. We already have a discussion about Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. I don't quite get the love of VS Code when VS Community is free and there's an advantage missing. Dripwasm, for Visual Studio is a lot more heavyweight. I both use them. For programming, I mostly use Visual Studio. But for example, changing our for my work we use ARM templates, Azure Resource Manager templates, and for that Visual Studio is really easy as it's really customizable. You can really easily create your own plugins or use other people's plugins. That's something I miss a lot. Visual Studio is also multi-platform, I think, those days. But yeah, I think they both have their place. Some people use only C# or Visual Studio code, but I like a nice mix between them. Yeah, so that's something quick to start. For the people that are new here or didn't miss the latest stream, we have a to-do list. You can also visit it at to-do at TopDev, but it's not running the latest GitHub. But hey, we also look at that because one of our tests fails. Also, do you have a course on Blazor? I'm following a plural site, but it has a lot of resources and I hate that. I don't really have a course. All of my streams are on YouTube. I'm looking at creating a course, but I'm not sure if it will be focused on... I'm not sure your level, by the way, but one of the themes I had was integrating Blazor in your existing MVC. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to just ask them here. But let's continue with the showing of where we are. We have a really cute loader. If you like also to add your own loader, feel free to check out the description in the chat. But for the rest, you can add new items. Repeatable tasks. So now you can see that it is added. You can even change the priority to medium, high. Oh, we have a breakpoint. We should remove that. Oh, I'm unauthorized to do this on this one. That's also something we added last stream. If we stop our backend, or if we don't have authorization. But yeah, you get a no connection. Ergazio, your connection is really bad. Can't watch the stream. I'm sorry, but it's unwatchable. That's too bad to hear. You can also watch the YouTube channel. It has all the streams, and I'm also recording. Just checked it, but that's correct. So if you want that, you can always watch that, and maybe you can change the resolution, but I'm not sure what resolutions you are running. And Dripwasm says, I went through a couple of Blazor Plural courses. I recommend sticking with them. They were fantastic to start. That's really good to hear. I do have Plural site through my work, but I didn't use them as I started on Blazor around 1.5 years ago. So there wasn't too much. I did some scanning, but not really. But yeah, if you disable the backend, so there's no connection, you get a message that there's no connection. So that's one thing we added last stream. Now let's boot up our backend. Let's give it a moment to start. It started. And now you can see that it is here again. If we go to that's something wrong, but we can look at that later. Sorry, I'm new here. What is the backend web API? No, we're using Azure Functions for this one, and we use Azure Table Storage to save it. We have everything hosted on portal.azure as a static web app. So that's the main reason I chose Azure Functions. I don't care. So it's completely free. You can have multiple environments, stuff like that. But yeah. We also have managed lists. So this is all the lists that are available. And this one I'm the owner, and this one I'm added to it. I can also remove it, but I'm not allowed to do that. And you also the option to change the rights. So there's view, edit, and full. We could all make this disabled when you don't have the rights, like here. But yeah, we didn't do that. It's just something you can look at. So another feature we added is the option to have autocomplete. So we do a query here and search for all the users we have, and then you can autocomplete. And then you can just edit. Easy enough. So that's everything we got. Today we will look at the ability to schedule it for one of the days. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I do wonder why I'm not allowed. What you drinking? Just some lemonade. With all the talking, my voice gets really dry in my mouth. So I try to stay hydrated as much as I can. But that's just some lemonade in a beer pool. So we can go to the update, do item function. And let's see why we cannot edit it. So our list is not null. the user ID equals this, so that should be true, or I see it, I missed a reverse Uno card. Now an exclamation mark. That was easy to fix. We're almost getting to the end of this application with the abilities that we can add. So if you have any suggestions for another app or other features we can still add, feel free to ask them or tell them in the chat. So now we can edit it, and now if we refresh, it still works. That's a little bug I really didn't fix, apparently. I also do want to run all my unit tests and see what's failing. Or not unit tests, but Blazor tests. Run unit tests. Apparently it's running this one. So we're gonna fix this, then deploy everything, and then we will start at our new feature. And let's make this a little bit smaller. And it's a little bit bigger. Cannot provide a value for to-do list service. We'll disable them for now. Maybe we look at that at the end of the stream, but I wanna deploy it right now. And I also added something to BUnit. It's now merged in, but it's not fully released. But there's an option to add that version. But yeah, that's something we may do at the end of the stream if we get the time. Normally I wouldn't disable all my unit tests to make them run. But we look at this later. So the idea is to have another option, like repeatable or one time. And if it's a repeatable, we will show a drop down with all the options for Monday, Wednesday, like that, and options to select them all. I think that would be the nicest way. If you have any other suggestions, feel free to ask or comment. Yes, I know my Azure function is off. So we're gonna load the component for it. So that's the to-do list item. Let me see if editing Let's copy this drop down. Priority. And we have priority in our shared project. So let's also share that or create a new one. So in our shared project and in our enums folder, we're gonna create a new class called Todo item schedule type. And this is gonna be a public enum. And let's stop debugging. One time scheduled. Now let's change that. And let's change that to type. Let's see if we run this. What happens? Edit. We do have it, but it doesn't look too good. Let's make our input smaller. Let's make it a little bit bigger. It's not amazing, but good enough for now. And now we go rounded flex. Let's create a new div in here. With a div in it. And this one will have an input. And the input is gonna be a checkbox. With a label called Monday. Let's do one for now. Let's see how that looks. It shouldn't be always enabled. So we also need to have it on editing. So let's do if editing. And of course the opening brackets. Drip Blossom, do you have any, you said you did the plural site, but do you have any other experience with Blazor or any projects you did? Also, Etty, welcome, and Commander Root. Okay. Building an inventory management system for moving a company. And I actually started Pluralsight on to get me going before the real project. Oh, I didn't read that correctly, but you're building an inventory management system for a moving company. So the trucks and the boxes and I don't know what they are, tape, the knives, all that stuff. You wanna keep track of where it is. Long time C# WPF dev, just moving to Blazor. Nice. I'm myself am a actually tracking the client's inventory they store, so household items. Oh, that's really cool. So is it for the client to access in what boxes all the stuff is, or is it for the company to know what's in where to put the boxes, or? My background is I'm also .NET, mostly C# and not WPF, but I mostly use MVC. But we're slowly moving. We have one project that is running on Blazor, and we're working on moving one in combination with MVC. So we have one page, or I have one page updated, and now we are slowly working on doing more pages when we get time. In between moves, they store rich people stuff and bill for the storage time. Think giant paintings and amors and such. They have to track square footage when I got. They have to track square footage when I get there. When it left, where it is, picture and description, etc. Ah, okay, that's pretty cool. So it's not like the box with cups, but it's like if they store something, you need to know where it is, so you can grab it easily and know who took it and all that fun stuff. That sounds like a really cool project. But this doesn't seem too nice with that. It's been fun, and working with Blazor has been great. I heard, like, do we have a fixed width height for this? Yes. What happens when we remove that? But yeah, that's something in there for everybody that works with it. And but it's good to hear that you're enjoying it. Did you already start, or did you just start with the Pluralsight, and are you now looking at streams and starting? Let me Hover, margin right, height auto, px. Margin, oh, padding, okay. Margin. Let's give this a top margin of 4. Let's also do that in this one. I'm already close to done with it. I'm just watching streams like this to compare my design decision I made to get ideas and how to improve it. Nice. This isn't always the nicest design, to be honest. Do have some cool things, but a lot of it is to show off Blazor. Did you use, I understand, just like the little ways other people solve the same issue? Yeah, that's also really nice. Also, did you, I don't know if you're a big fan of unit testing, but do you know of B-Unit? Let's... Give it a padding on the right. On the left, never mind. And it should be in the class. Embarrassing, I've never done unit testing and I really want/need to. I was scared to make my first real Blazor project, my first unit test project too. So, can understand. Like I don't know what project you work on, but the bigger the project is, the harder it is to know what a change does, especially when you work with multiple people. And then a unit test is really nice. With B-Unit is a way to... it's a testing library for your Blazor components, so you don't especially test the codes, but you test the outputs or the components. So it's not Selenium, but it's like a middle way. The good parts of unit testing combined with... Oh, we have one Wednesday to watch. I'm thinking if we should save this in a dictionary or something, because definitely gonna give it a try. I recommend. I'm guessing it's sort of a lot of work to get it started adding existing projects. No, not really. Like, okay, now I'm gonna try to fix one. But we used autofixture with it. It's a way to automatically create mocks, but you can also do that by hand basically, or don't use mocks, but I do like to use mocks. And you basically need the test context. So normally you would do something like context is new test context. Of course you need to, I just create a XUnit testing project and make sure it has the rights to the other one, and also add bunit, and that's just Google bunit and you find it. But now you can, on the context, you can add the services you want or the mocks. And then you can do something like render your component, and then you can, for example, find a specific part of the HTML, and then you can check the value, and then you have your first test. And if you want to add more, you just add another one. Something we do at work was our projects didn't all have tests on the start, and you always forget to add tests sometimes. But try to, when you touch your code, try to leave it cleaner than it is. So try to refactor it if you can, and try to add more unit tests than you increase the coverage of your test every commit, and after a while you have a really good portion of your project covered. So that's basically how I like to do it. Now I closed everything. Here them. Like, we could save this in a dictionary or in an array, but that's kind of annoying as Azure Table Storage can't. Let's also add the last 2 days. Nice, I'm always scared I'm going to write a million tests of codes and I ultimately throw out, but I've heard ones that start writing tests a lot of... Yeah, I like... don't just write tests when you're done. I actually never worked in a team, always solo, so it's never pushed me towards testing. Yeah, I can imagine my first Blazor project also didn't have too many tests as I should have. Wait, I can just create an enum for this. Yeah, I have a better ID. Because the first one was ook mostly alone. But don't write your code and then write your test. Try to switch between them. So create a function and then create a unit test for the function, and then create, for example, the implementation, so you actually know when the function is done. Stuff like that makes it a lot easier and nicer to do, because most of the times when I started it was I wanted to add a feature. I wrote the entire feature and tried to write a few unit tests, but then most of the times you're like, well, what's the point? I don't really want to do this, and I just want to start on the next one. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday. Nice, like this, and now we can do this. Or, of course, the add for the Blazor for each or day in days of the week. Someday I will look at disbelief that I ever put off learning and implementing good tests. Just gotta get with it. I think also that like writing unit tests is really important, but it's not the most important skill to have. And John says, to be honest, I never written tests before written code either. Well, you should try more. Like if you want to do test-driven development, a lot of people say like you write a function, you write a test, and then you write another function, but that's not really test-driven development. Test-driven development is more. I'm not an expert. I read some stuff on it and I heard some podcasts, but the goal of test-driven development is write the bare minimum to have working code, basically. So just the template of the function and the class. Then you create your test, and you create a test that fails. Then you only write what you need to do to make sure the test doesn't fail anymore. And then you add more code, or you add more tests, and then your code fails again, and then you add more code. I don't know your code also, but making your code testable is like half the struggle, or is like half the advantage of it, as most times it's really easy to reuse and switch out stuff, expand it. So that's also a really good way. Yeah, but half of the time I either end up moving my code or switching it up a bit, but I do keep my test in mind through. I don't try to keep the code reusable. Yeah, but with refactoring, your code or your tests should also be refactored, so that it already be a really big part. Let's change the model of the to-do item to do item. And give this an array. Yes, an array. And it's gonna be a Boolean array. Repeat on day. Get set. And because enum is actually just an repeat on day. Oh, that's not gonna work, of course, because we need the true item dot repeat on day. Cannot convert Boolean to int. Nice. And for now, let's make sure. Yeah, let's make sure that it also always has equals new bool days of the week that's yeah, I can do that. Days of the week dot no, it's enum dot get values days of the week dot length. So for this example, I don't think the days of the weeks are gonna change anytime soon, but maybe it will, but Trump is already gone, so I don't think he is gonna change that. But this way, we always have the value. Oh, I closed it, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. Let's run this. That's cool. It should save it, even though it doesn't save it. Yeah. So the values are bind. And let's also public schedule type schedule. And let's do that for our can edit, editing, get priority. We do not need the priority right here. Enum delete, and we bind it at todo item dot repeat. No, not repeat on day. schedule. Let's see if that works. Also, Herbs. I hope I say your name correctly, but welcome to the chat. Hope you are doing well. Okay, maybe we do need that, otherwise it's getting really ugly. And we not only wanted editing, but we also want the to-do item dot schedule equals scheduled. Cool. So now is the second step is to edit to our API. So I'm still gonna need to find a way to save it. And I think that is... And then we need to make our scheduler in Azure Functions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We also are kind of getting at the end of this app. So if you have any suggestions for our next app, feel free to comment them in the chat, and we may even build it. Everything we built on stream is open source, so you can watch the GitHub and see how it works. Let's also check on our... That looks already good, but that doesn't look good. Apparently it's not built else. Oh. That explains a lot. At release, so we commented it out. So this gets built when it's a release, and it gets built when it's not a release. So this way we don't have to change our URI and our out service every time. Let's go to our DTOs. because we need to add. I don't know why we did this. This shouldn't be necessary because we don't have it on any of the other ones, so we'll remove it. We use the same model on both sides, so it doesn't matter. Let's add public scheduled type. If you're enjoying the stream and you're new, feel free to hit that follow button, as it's free and it's really appreciated. And if you're enjoying the stream and you want to support more, you can always hit that subscribe button. It's $5 a month, and you get some cool emotes like the shock. And you get a badge next to your name. Like John. Be cool like John. How did we call that other one? Repeat on day. Yeah, it kinda hurt, John. Not gonna lie. I shouldn't have said that. So we also need a mapping for it, so no, we don't need a mapping for it because we didn't create a new type. I'm just thinking about how we want to save this in our database. Because I kind of want to be able to query on it. And with a Boolean array, it's not possible. Yeah, I think I have a sort of elegant solution. So we're going to our to-do item entity. So this is what is in our database. Int scheduled type. So our database doesn't support enums. Yeah, it's really bad. So we can use int. It automatically can do that with the automapper, so that's not a problem. And then we gonna have ignore property public bool array, and then it's gonna be repeat on days, get set. Yes. Let's also make this a new array always. The enum dot values dot days of the week. At length. Crying newborn, got to run early. I'll be back for the next one. Thanks. Thank you for stopping by, Dripwasm. Good luck with your newborn. And congratulations with your newborn. And see you next time. I stream every Monday and Wednesday from 7 till 10 p.m. Central Europe time. So I hope to see you next time. And if you have any ideas for a new project, feel free to message me. Let's do a type of. Will do. Find you on Reddit, by the way. Oh, good to hear those posts are working. I think I got a lot of people of Reddit, so that's pretty nice. Public. Bull Monday. So this is gonna be an ugly one. Get is repeat on day Monday. Days of the week, that's Monday. That is a weird sound in my room, I think. Not sure what it was. Days of the week, that's Monday equals value. So normally we could even do this a lot cleaner. But this one doesn't support arrays of that sort. And normally we could like convert it to JSON or something and just paste it in, but we're gonna try to query on it. Another approach for this would be every time we retrieve it, we could uncheck it, do the logic there. But I think it's a fun way to show some power of Azure Functions. So I believe I didn't make any mistakes, and now we can also save this in the database. And I also think that should not even have any we gotta update to the updates. So in my other, while we're waiting for everything to start up, I'm also starting Azure Research Manager so we can see our database. If you like to see another technology being used, we're probably gonna use Blazor. But if you want to see a specific database, backend, whatever, feel free to tell it in the chat and I'll look at it next time. Or I will look it for the next project we're gonna do. Refresh. Didn't want to boot up. Scheduled and for Monday and Saturday, and we're gonna save it. We're gonna check our emulator and then our tables and then the to-do items. Let's make it a little bit bigger for you guys. So as you can see, the scheduled is 0, that should be 1. But we'll check that out. And Monday and Saturday are true, and I believe that is the value we liked. So that worked, and I'm really happy with that. And with that note, I'm gonna take a small break. Hope everybody sticks around and grab something to drink, stretch your legs, and I'll be back in a few. Hello and welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody took something to drink, stretched his legs, and is ready to keep going. So let's see. Oh my god, I finally got the NPM to work. How hard is NPM? That's pretty easy. What was the problem with it, John? Let's also see if it now built correctly. And yes. Ah, okay. John, could you do something for me and log in with one account on the to-do at top dev? But a clean rebuild and 2 restarts of VS Studio later fixed. Oh, that seemed easy. I could also go to login. Yeah, look. Now also at my Twitter account. Give me full rights and you can only watch. Hahaha. And now if I go to .out /logout. Wait, I did. Hey, what? I still sense Belgian energy, am I wrong? Well, you're close, Johnny the Carrot. It's from the Netherlands. So, close? And let's add that's pretty funny. Now I have 2 lists. But Johnny, how are you doing today? That out /logout, and let's log in with Twitter this time. Doing alright, spending all day coding in C#. That's really nice, Johnny. I wish I could code all day in C#, but today I had to do a lot of Azure. You just spelled welcome? Well, I did that before. Let's... Oh, I don't have the ability to change it. But yeah, that works. But Johnny, have you any experience in Blazor, or are you using .NET and are you interested in Blazor, or are you not really interested in Blazor but just in C#? You don't know what Blazor is, to be honest. Okay, that's really cool, I think. We can do a short introduction of Blazor. And John says, Azure, I wish I could code in Azure today. I mostly migrated static code analysis outcome with wrongfully shut off. But if we go to blazor.net, yes. Blazor is an interactive web UI using C#. And there are basically two flavors of Blazor right now. There are coming more. But there's server side and there's client side. And server side means that there's a WebAssembly interpreter for your .NET DLLs. So instead of writing JavaScript, you can now write C# codes, but with the functionality of C# basically. So for instance, if we go to our to-do app, like normally stuff like this would only be possible through JavaScript, or you would have to refresh the entire page. But now we do everything in C#, and we can write to-do item component. I'm saying out of my head, yeah. You can just use your models here. You can say like, if edit, then we want to show this. If editing, you want to show this. And do all cool stuff for each loops using enums. John says, I tried changing my rights on the welcome list and it getRightfully gave me an error on insufficient rights. But the error was on the top right somewhere. It seemed misplaced. Well, we are using the Blazor toast. Yes. And I believe the default value is on the top right. And I never changed it. But where do you want to see it, John? On the bottom? In the middle? I'm not sure if that's an option. Well, nicer it would be below the list, but where you change it, but that's in general perhaps the middle. Is there any advantages to compare to JavaScript or TypeScript? Well, there are a lot of advantages, there are a lot of disadvantages. One advantage is that you don't have to write JavaScript, or mostly not. And you can use like the same models on the front end and the back end. You can even reuse logic from the back end and the front end. For people like me that write a lot of C# and somewhat, not that often, write JavaScript, it's really nice to don't need to do that, but just keep in your language. And yeah, that's mostly it. Also, the framework around it is really nice for the rendering. But a lot of advantages is that you can share your code. You can use the same model, so if you change somewhere something, it automatically gets updated, or you get build time. You can also get build time exceptions instead of runtime. The unit testing is a huge advantage. That's not really true, because you can also unit test JavaScript, I believe, more. I usually use React with TypeScript. Yeah, so then that's already a usage advantage over JavaScript. But now, for example, for our let's go to our code and let's go to the to-do item service. This is the wrong one. But we can use a constant from our backend, so where the server is, and we are just sending our DTO instead of well, it's going to be JSON, but now we also know at the backend that we are gonna receive this item. So that's one of the main thing. And for my work, I needed to write like almost an entire application using entire application that loads in data and processed it all, and then showed it on a certain way. And that would be possible with JavaScript, but I'm not that good at JavaScript, and I prefer C# as it's strongly typed and all that stuff. So I could just do that. And one thing I really don't like about C# is how much work with JSON is such a pain. What do you mean? Because you can just use JSON serializer, or you have, depending on what libraries you have installed, you can just do that. You can even have it through dependency injection. Not this one. I never really had too much problem with JSON. Especially if you use like MVC and stuff, then you don't even have to bother about the JSON. Don't you need full-on classes for JSON objects? I'm not really sure what you mean, but we are not even looking at JSON. Like, I know it's getting converted in JSON, and that's the way we send it, but I only care that I sent this model. And on the update to do item function, and on the backend, I only care about this model, and I don't care about how it gets there, to be honest. It could be JSON. JSON is really nice because it's easy configurable or checkable. But it could also be yeah, bits or bytes or base 64. Now, say I have an object with A equals B, then I need to make a class with a property of type string. That's an extra step. That is sort of true. But if you want to know what B is, you probably, or you want to know what A is, you probably want a class because it's a strongly typed language. But you could do something like, I think you can just do JSON convert. We use JSON convert here for some reason. Dot deserialize anonymous type request body. And now we could say x dot no, it's deserialize. Or you could use nodes, but that's a lot more work. But I think you can convert it to anonymous objects. But I don't. In what case do you wanna do that? Like, I always use models and. We had some problem. I don't know, maybe I'll get used to it. Yeah, in JavaScript it's very loose, but it's also not a strongly typed language. Like, it can be a downside, but that's also the strength of it. I'm starting to hate loose typing, not gonna lie. Yeah, and especially, I don't know on what kind of projects you work and stuff like that, but the bigger the project, the better strongly typed gets in my eyes. So that's my opinion. Currently, you reverse engineering ceiling lights to C#. That like the management of ceiling lights, I'm not really sure what you mean. RGB ceiling lights, click on, click out, truss lights. How bad is that? I'm genuinely wondering if ceiling lights is a language or do you mean actually lights? He means actually lights. Is it for work, Johnny the Card, or is it a hobby? Ah, yeah. Yeah, I have... Actually, the lights RGB are controlled to an Android app. I'm reverse engineering the Android app to see how it controls the lights to make a desktop app for them. Oh, that's pretty cool. That doing it as an hobby. Yeah, that sounds like more like a hobby project, but a really cool one. How are you reverse engineering? Are you checking what it sends out, or did you decompile the app? Or just sending messages as decompiled the APK. Cool. Like, do they work on? Are they connected to the internet then? What kind of lights are they? Like, I have the IKEA smart lights. The only reason for them is that they are cheap and did what they wanted. They are, yes, through an HTTP API. Okay, pretty cool. I had a classmate that went strangely they sent the password, email and MAC address as a query parameter, which IRC can be interpreted even over HTTPS. Thomas, what's the second line to do again, by the way, for the tailwind working after npm install gulp? Gulp CSS. Tailwind. Here you go, John. Let us debug our update func. Okay, we need to restart our Azure function. But in my university, I had a good friend that I had multiple actually. That's but they automated their entire house. They even, like, you're using a system, and I would recommend that. But he made his own microchips and bought them from China and stuff, and or he didn't make them his own, but he bought like microchips from China and soldered them to his network, and yeah. But yeah, he once didn't have any internet, and then his entire system shut down because everything went over HTTP. He couldn't turn the lights off or on again. Okay, I was apparently wrong. HTTP encrypts all, so it's fine. Yes. Really? Oh, I thought they only did the posts. Oh, it's entirely encrypted. Did not know, but very good to hear. Still, it sounds like a bad practice to send an email and a password on every call. But hey. What do I know? Data schedule type. There's something going wrong. Repeatable task status scheduled as 0. To-do item service, and then we want our Blazor service. So yeah, I'm able to control my friend's lights from many kilometers away. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I use the IKEA one with Google Home, and I can also turn the lights off when I'm gone. Let me see if it's already wrong here. But you have the info of your friend's house? That doesn't sound smart of him. Or did you install it for him? We know each other IRL. Yeah, but doesn't mean that you won't abuse it. If I had lights of my friends, I would turn them off and on again the entire time. Schedule type is 0. Oh, maybe you're nicer than me. Though it also depends on what friend it is. That's why we're all surprised that you said you had friends. I do have friends. I made beer with one of them this weekend. And now I have a big bucket of beer in my house that I cannot drink because it needs to ripe or ferment. Ferment, I think is the correct word. That lasts you an evening at least, right? Well, it's a triple, so it should, but yeah, we had like we also drinks during that, of course, and we had a really nice bottle of Delirium Black. I can show it, Delirium Black. It's a barrel aged it's not cheap, but it's a really nice beer. And we had it one time on a kind of crazy trip. So we bought two of those bottles when we found out that they were available. And we drank one of them. and a lot of beer, so I'm not sure. It depends on how strong the alcohol is and how good it tastes, I think. So our problem was that the front end called it schedule and the other one called it schedule type. So let's do scheduled type. So the cool thing is that now also my UI should be updated with just one line of code change. Visual Studio does the rest. Now let's see. Does our data scheduled? Nice. Let's remove the breakpoints. And let's also remove the login. I thought I fixed it, but I didn't. Let me see. Do you guys have ever made beer before, or do you not drink any beer? Or this is an int that should work. Yeah. You don't like beer. Oh. Yeah, John, you stopped drinking, right? Or did you start again? But since Corona, I don't drink much. I only drink the very occasion. I drink one whiskey like once per 2 months or something like that. Oh, nice. You drink good whiskey or cheap stuff? Or not cheap stuff, but mixed stuff. Let's call it that. Get Todo item function. Let's see what we get. Oh, let's run it. Probably between and no, I drink it pure. Not the biggest experts, but when I drink, I better enjoy it. That's right. Like before Corona or just at the start, I didn't drink whiskey at all. Well, not at all, but like sometimes someone was like, "Hey, you want a glass?" And I was like, "Sure," but I didn't have a bottle myself, and I never ordered it. But then some friends dragged me to a whiskey tasting. Well, whiskey taste. Everybody bought a bottle of whiskey, and we got to taste all of them. It was really fun, and since then I have a bottle. and I do like to have like one more, but something for later, I think. To do item, schedule type. That should be a good fit, I think. Like, this worked way easier than I thought, and this is like screwing me over all the time. I'm not sure what I did. Let's... We're not using those anymore, so let's remove them. God damn it. Yeah, sure, stop. And start again. Also, welcome back, Electric Longboards and Talents. How is it going? Let's see what it contains. John Wesley's Jojo. Do you know that? No idea, maybe she's chilling at the park. Yeah, I think maybe she's eaten by a goat. That's also a possibility. Okay, probably it's a mapping that's going wrong, so let's check it out. We're now checking the auto mappings of Alright, you got to head out early today. See you guys next time. See ya! Have a good night. Do we do something special for that now? Schedule type. Result equals results. Return new results. Okay, now we can check the objects. If we do a refresh, Uh-oh. We have a build error. And now it works. Let's hope. Result. So the priority is done. Okay, but the schedule type isn't. That's super weird. This one works perfectly. Priority works. Didn't give them numbers. Schedule type. And in here, let's see. Todo item entity. Holy shit. Okay, schedule type. New doesn't have that. Let's update it everywhere. I'm sorry for that. How we can have two mismatches, that's really bad. That's a big downside to AutoMapper sometimes. Oh, we should hit continue. Scheduled, nice. I think we have everything ready for our next part. So I'm looking good. I'm gonna take a small break. I'll be back in a few minutes and then we will be adding the Azure function. Hello and welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a good break. Stretch your legs. And is ready to keep going. We are now gonna look at a new function. Let's stop debugging. Let's create a folder called scheduled. Let's create a new Azure function. Azure. No, not Azure. Repeatable task scheduler. And we want the timer trigger in cron reader. Cron. No, it's cron job. Yeah, I looked for the site. So you can schedule it using a certain time. This would run it every minute, and that's something we want to do because we want to test it. But example, wait, every minute past 1 hour, that should not be. So we want to do something like this, so it runs every night. But for now we're gonna do a starter and start it. For date time equals dot now. Day of the week equals date. Let's see what that contains. This starts at Sunday. Let's use this one instead of our own. So we're just gonna remove this one. That's gonna give us a whole lot of build errors, and we're just gonna fix those. Well, not a whole lot, but a few. Let's replace them all. That should. If you have any questions about what we are doing, or why we are doing it, or any questions about Blazor in general, feel free to ask. That's correct. We don't use it in that model. Okay, cool. That makes working with it way easier. I think. Let's hope. Let's grab the privates. Read only. Todo item service. And let's go to the implementation. Public. Hello, not. We want an enumerable of todo item entities get repeatable and day of week. Oh, this is not in our interface. Why does it? Oh, never mind. I'm trying to insert it inside the constructor. That's not gonna work. Let's create a function for it. It's never used. Query equals cloud table dot create query todo entity. No, todo item entity. Case Monday. Where and let's move this one here. Let's add a comma here. And let's copy it without the one. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Query variable. This seems good. Let's also add this on the interface. And now var items equals get all repeatable day of the week for each var item in items. Dot save is and let's set item dot status equals false. Let's make sure that it is added to the constructor. Maybe you should also do the query for the status, so we aren't getting all the items, but just the ones that needs to be updated. Edit. Save. Now this is triggered. Day of the week is Wednesday. That seems good. Wait, oh, I didn't create the service for it. I don't want static. Todo. Why would you make that static? Okay. I'll create my... Oh, because the rest is static. Never mind. I don't want it to be static. Shit, I could just run it. Now it's here. Sometimes we have to wait a lot, sometimes it's really quick. We have like 30 seconds to fill, so let's keep talking. If you're using this as your function, make sure you don't depend on that it is it exactly the time you have. They have some room. Also, welcome Silly Gnome, welcome back, how are you doing? But this one was on the dot. And now it's unchecked. And now if we check it again, we can refresh. When we check it again, why isn't my status getting updated? Okay, for now we just have to make sure we save it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. As you can see, it's still true. And now we should get it right now. And now if we refresh, it's not checked anymore. I want to do two things. Go to the implementation. That where stay x dot not Saturday status. Let's give this a good refresh. Let's make sure this will be saved. And let's wait for the few minutes. That's in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's triggered. And now it's unchecked. So this does everything we want. Let's update. I think I'm gonna keep it at that. It's a pretty short stream. I'm sorry for that. But we're kinda done for today. If you have any suggestions about what to do next week, feel free to ask or tell me on Twitter, on here, or via private message. And I hope you all have a great night. And I'll see you later. I stream every Monday and Wednesday from 7 till 10, or sometimes a little bit later, sometimes a little bit before. Thanks all for watching.